We assume getting older means making smarter choices, but the adult brain operates on flawed software that regularly crashes when processing complex decisions. Our daily logic fails in predictable patterns. We trust wildly inconsistent gut feelings, we allow uncritical optimism to blind us to obvious risks, and we let completely random numbers dictate our high-stakes negotiations. Behavioral psychologists have studied these hidden glitches for decades. Their solution for disarming these complex biases is surprisingly straightforward. We have to drastically simplify how we think. By deliberately regressing to 5 playful, straightforward mental frameworks commonly used by 5-year-olds, we can actually outsmart the adult brain. Achieving true intellectual objectivity means stripping away the adult ego and using basic childhood mechanics to build a foolproof decision-making system. Let's start with groupthink. This is the dangerous psychological trap, where a team naturally suppresses internal doubt and blindly aligns the moment a decision seems finalized. The proven countermeasure is the premortem. Before committing to a plan, jump 1 year into the future and imagine the execution was a complete disaster. Then everyone writes a brief history of exactly what went wrong. Kids naturally do this with the uh-oh game. Before placing the first piece of a massive block tower, they pause to imagine exactly how the whole thing might crash to the floor. Playfully brainstorming absurd points of failure, like a squishy carpet or a dog wagging its tail into the base, forces the brain to identify hidden threats it would normally ignore. Actively visualizing catastrophic failure before making a choice shatters uncritical optimism, legitimizes doubt, and mathematically increases the safety of your final plan. This animated diagram illustrates the planning fallacy. It compares an inside view, where adults use sketchy plans to create a highly unrealistic best-case timeline, against the reality of how long tasks actually take. The fix is adopting the outside view. This means identifying similar past projects and examining their hard statistics to create a realistic baseline. Think of a child with a messy bedroom. Instead of making an unrealistic promise to clean it in 1 minute, they need to recall the historical baseline. How long did it take last time, or how long does it take their sibling? It usually takes a whole cartoon episode. Relying on historical data from similar ventures cures delusional optimism and generates highly accurate forecasts for time and cost. This diagram shows the fatal flaw of open meetings. When early, assertive speakers voice an opinion, their data point grows large, magnetically pulling others to simply line up behind them. You fix this by decorrelating errors. You force every participant to write down a brief summary of their position before any discussion begins, strictly isolating their individual judgment. When these independent judgments are pooled without cross-contamination, individual biases cancel each other out, maximizing the value of the group's diverse knowledge. It is exactly like guessing the number of jelly beans in a jar. If one loud kid shouts 100, the brain automatically copies it. But if everyone writes their guess in secret, the aggregate average of those uninfluenced numbers gets startlingly close to the right answer. Collective intelligence is only powerful if the individual inputs are strictly quarantined from social influence prior to evaluation. Then there is the anchoring effect. Our highly suggestible minds are unconsciously pulled toward any number presented to us during an estimate or negotiation, even if that number is completely random. The most effective cognitive defense mechanism is to deliberately instruct your mind to search for aggressive arguments against the anchor, breaking its gravitational pull. This diagram illustrates a childhood sticker trade. A friend demands 10 stickers for a shiny one, dropping a massive weight on the scale. To drag the value back to reality, the kid has to actively point out flaws, like a bent corner, dropping counterweights to balance the scale. Because anchors trigger automatic, biased mental associations, you have to regain objective footing by intentionally focusing your attention on the absolute minimal acceptable parameters. Finally, we have to confront the unreliability of human intuition. Our judgments are incorrigibly inconsistent, easily swayed by our current mood, by recent events, or even the weather. The uncomfortable truth is that in highly unpredictable situations, simple formulas and algorithms consistently match or outperform the subjective gut judgments of highly trained experts. Imagine a child picking a superhero toy at the store. Instead of grabbing the one giving off the best immediate vibe, they use a strict point system on a simple checklist, scorning independent traits like a cape, lights, and moving arms to find the factual winner. When evaluating complex candidates, selecting a few independent traits and scoring them on a standard, rigid scale completely removes the liability of human emotion. These childhood tricks scale up perfectly to resolve complex adult dilemmas, whether you are sitting in a corporate boardroom or negotiating the price of a new house. The toolkit is highly practical. Imagine failure before you start. Check historical baselines for your timelines. Keep group votes secret. Actively reject initial numbers, and use rigid checklists over your gut. The next time you face a massive life choice, the smartest thing you can do is ignore your mature, sophisticated adult intuition and embrace the ruthless, objective simplicity of a 5-year-old.